What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. And today's video is going to be my review of the latest episode of Paramount Plus's MobLand. So this episode, I believe it's episode 3. It's entitled Plan B. So right off the bat, before we get into the review, we got to give our score. And if you're new to the channel, the scoring system is 0 to 5, 0 being trash and 5 being a masterpiece. I gave episode 3, Plan B, I gave it a 4. This is a high 4. Matter of fact, some of the complaints people have had about the show is, it's kind of slow, which I don't share that same complaint, but to each their own. But I think this is the episode that'll get everybody back on board, those that had the issues with maybe the pacing or whatever, because they really revved it up in this episode. We had things moving, the plot's moving, and there were stakes, and let's just say, like I said, this was a great episode. So we're going to go ahead and get into the review. I'm not going to go over every single thing. I'm just going to talk about, the big points of the episode, at least that were for me. Of course, please get in the comments if there's anything I missed. I will definitely love to discuss it. So without further ado, my good people, let's go ahead and let's get into this review. So right off the bat, Richie, he's making his move. And I mean, he's coming out swinging. And we start with an explosion, and we find out that the bomb was set off at Kevin's house. Kevin's house was bombed. Of course, Bella and Kevin and Eddie were not there, but this was more or less Richie sending a message. Also, at that same time, they rolled up on Harry. Now, Harry was able to, as he does, cool the situation down, put some things out there, because the driver, I can't think of his name, but the driver, he's kind of cool. He's always cool. Like the interactions that Harry has had to have when he has to meet with Richie. I can't think of this guy's name, but this guy's always straight up and pretty cool with Harry. But the other guy, Ollie, the black dude, he's Richie's boy. Whatever Richie wants, he gonna do. And I think this is more or less his idea. But once again, Harry is able to calm the situation and basically tells him, "Hey, if you go after me right now," and he gets Conrad on the phone, and they explain, "We know where your people are, and they'll be gone by this afternoon. So kind of the choice is yours." So they decide to pull back and get the hell out of there, and decide, you know what, we're gonna let this guy slide for now. And the thing about it is this lets the Harrigans know that they are on red alert. Like it's hot. The block is hot, and this results in the Kevin preparing for all-out war. I mean, this guy, he's making phone calls to everybody he can. They're tooling up. I think they call the Czechoslovakians or the Czechs. So he's tooling up because he knows what's coming. It's war, But once again, Harry has a way. He has a way to maybe, calm things down, to kill two birds with one stone. And we'll get to that. But more importantly, Kevin unleashes his rage upon Eddie. And let me tell you, man, and a couple of people I've talked to that watch this show, that goddamn Eddie, man. I mean, I hate this kid. I know he's the wild card of it. He caused all this, and he's so nonchalant and cavalier about it. He could care less, and he's not going to be out there, at least for right now. He's not going to be out there fighting the war, And so I just love how Kevin got in his ass and got on him, and I wish he would have did a little bit more to him. I wish he would have, put some hands on him, because he's putting everybody at risk. Everybody's life's on the line, and this dude could care less. So, of course, the main thing about this episode that we found out at the reveal of last week's episode is Tommy was located, chopped up, put in a box. And this resulted in Harry bagging up the club owner, who at the beginning acted like he didn't know nothing. But we know now that Eddie knew him. This was all a setup from the beginning. Now, this results in Kevin having to make a phone call to inform Conrad of the situation, that Eddie is involved. Eddie has caused this, and war is coming upon the family. Now, lo and behold, who happens to just be right in the area when the phone call comes in? Maeve. Man, I gotta tell you guys, Maeve, like I talked about this in the previous episode, just about, man, she is seeming like she's Lady Macbeth. And let me just say, I mean, she is like an entity, a force of nature. I mean, she sees all, she knows all, she hears all. Her presence, you can just feel her presence throughout the episode. It's like she has her fingers on everything. And one of the things, a piece of me believes that she is somewhat involved in the police getting the information on the family, because I know that's counteractive to the family, because it'll take the family down, and she's part of the family. But for some reason, I just feel that she is somehow wheeling and dealing and making this happen. I won't be surprised if that's the case. But as far as this episode go, her and Conrad, they're at odds about Eddie. And, you know, Maeve is pro Eddie. She believes Eddie is the future of the family. You know, he's probably going to be the successor to Conrad. And Conrad is on the opposite. But they go back and forth, and eventually they decide to fall on a plan B. Now, not the plan B you're thinking of, but the plan B to, you know, their original plan on how to deal with things. Because we all in life, what do they tell you? You got a plan A? Well, you better be ready with that plan B. Plan A, does not work. And plan B for us, or the Harrigans, is to go at Richie, go after the Stevensons. Now, Conrad wants to take a more of a, let's take them down methodically, slow, work our way up. Whereas Maeve wants to go for the kill shot. She wants to go for the headshot. And for her, the plan B is Vern. Vern is the wife of Richie Stevenson. And it's so crazy because they both talk about how much they like her, but you know, Maeve's like, yeah, I know where she'll be at. I know where we can get her. So it's like, God, man, she is just a sinister individual, but I like it. Helen Mirren is killing it on this. I just saw her in Yellowstone 1923. She kicked ass then, and she's kicking ass on this show. All right, so I talked previously about Harry killing two birds with one stone. Well, here's how we get here. I told you, we have the nightclub owner. We have him bagged up, tied up. I mean, he's been beat up a little bit, but basically Kevin and Harry just mess with this guy's mind. And they finally tell him, you know, we're going to come after your family. And he's begging, please don't hurt my family. He finally says, I'll do anything. And once he says that, his fate is sealed. And I mean, he wasn't leaving alive. I'll put it to you this way. We all know he wasn't going to live. He wasn't going to live. He was going to be taken out. But the manner of how he was going to be taken out, oh boy, because if the Harrigans decide, yeah, it's a wrap, it's probably going to be quick. But because he said he would do anything, they decide to hand him over to the Stevensons and be like, hey, technically he was the one that took him out, but they're basically keeping their hands clean. This is a goodwill gesture. We're handing them over, but they're not talking about, well, how did this come about? Because of course we know Eddie was involved. And so you can tell deep down Richie's not buying it. He even says, okay, I'm gonna talk to our friend, and I say that in air quotes, talk. And we know what that means. I mean, he's going to go to town on this guy. And he even tells the guy, me and you are going to be, you know, we're going to be friends, and we're going to talk. And you know what that talking is going to be. But at the same time, Richie tells Harry that I'm going to sleep on it for now. But if anything he says, and I'm not vibing with, I'm not feeling it, I'm going to come see you. You know, I'm going to come see you. So that's going to be very interesting. So we kind of end, you know, there, but then the big kicker at the end of the episode, and they do a good job with this. They always end it with a kind of a cliffhanger or a bang, you know, to the end of the episode. And what we get is Fisk, the policeman, he gets another anonymous tip, and this time the location of Archie's body. Now, there's only a small circle of people that knew the location, particularly where they put Archie. They put him in the casket with his wife. Oh my God, that was a crazy reveal. But yeah, you know, that and the episode ends there. So somebody close to the family is telling. Somebody's telling. They're Ratatouille. They are telling. And that's kind of bit. That's it. That's pretty much the end of the episode. Now, a couple of things I just wanted to touch on. One last thing, or two things I kind of wanted to touch upon is Bella. Bella, you know, she thought she was wheeling and dealing with the big boys, and she fucked up big time royally, and of course called Harry because you know, she tried to screw her dad over, and the dude who she was working with basically made copies of the video and basically told her, you know, he's basically threatening her to keep her in line, so that, you know, if she deviates from whatever he wants, she's gonna expose him to her father. So the guy Antoine or whatever. So she calls Harry. Of course, Harry's like, I'll take care of it. But once again, she's trying to tempt, you know, Bella's trying to tempt Harry. And the question to you guys is, do you think he's going to stay strong or is he going to give in? Because both of them are in the same situation. They're both tied to people they don't want to be with. You know, I would say that you could argue that Harry, he's staying with Jan for, I guess you could say, honorable reasons because of the daughter they have together and he wants to keep the family together. Whereas Bella, maybe we'll get some more into the family history on why she's staying with Kevin. Like, what's the deal? What happened? Also, there was a side plot with the old folks home. We saw what appeared to be a guard who abused Harry back in the day. It kind of reminded me of the movie Sleepers. If y'all have ever seen that movie, you know, Kevin Bacon was just a dirty, nasty motherfucker in that movie, and what he did to them boys was and I hope it's not, I mean, the beatings are bad, but I hope they don't go where I think it's going, because if that's the case, that guy is gonna be dead meat. And then also we got a bit of Maeve's history with Serafina. We kind of find out the whole origin of Conrad and Maeve. He basically got Maeve pregnant when he was 16, resulting in the birth of Brendan. And Conrad tells Serafina about how, you know, he thought he got a knock at his door and he thought it was going to be her father with a shotgun. And it was someone with a shotgun, but it wasn't her father. It was Maeve. So it's kind of like Maeve kind of like, you're going to marry me. And she probably got pregnant on purpose to trap him. And so she's definitely telling the truth that she's the one who made the family. Also, the conversations with Serafina and Conrad were great. And we got to learn what it was that Brendan did, how he fucked up everything. And, you know, it seems like Serafina has a sympathy, you know, him and Serafina kind of, it seems like Brendan and Serafina have a pretty good relationship because she brings up, you know, the possible proposal that Brendan has, but the dad told him, make sure you dot your I's, cross your T's, and check with me before you give him any money or whatever. And we also, like I said, we get to see Serafina and Maeve go back and forth. And we learn the origins of Serafina. Like, I believe her mother was a stripper and got pregnant. And, you know, her and Maeve are going back and forth because Maeve was already pissed because when Conrad was yelling for all the family to get all the family here after the bombing, he said Serafina's name before Brendan, which pisses off Maeve, where she feels that Serafina's an outsider. You know, she should be at the bottom. And that's just not the case. You know, I think Conrad's kind of like, hey, if you're my kid and you're doing well, hey, I'm gonna love you. You're gonna get the props. You're gonna get everything you deserve. And so this definitely rubs Maeve the wrong way. And like I said, there's this back and forth where, you know, Serafina flat out, you know, because she accuses Serafina of being an outsider, not really being a true Harrigan. And when, you know, Serafina tells her, well, I have Harrigan DNA. You were married into this family. I have Harrigan DNA. And then Maeve throws back at her, well, from what I understand, that line was very long. So saying there were plenty of dudes that ran up in your mom. So you may not necessarily be a Harrigan, which that sets her off. And of course, Conrad's there to console her. So Yeah, guys, so that's about it. Video went a little bit longer than I wanted, but yeah, I think the show is really, really starting to come into its own. I really enjoyed this episode, and thank you guys for taking this journey with me. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe, smash that like, get in the comments and tell me what you thought about the episode. And guys, like I always say, if it's for 1 minute, 5 minutes, or a whole damn video, I appreciate you taking time out of your day to view my content. So with that being said, it's your boy P signing off, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Take it easy.